Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Women Have Needs Too. Women have needs too. Right now, I need to learn the importance of being intimate with myself. Today, we're here with Brooke Tera Sundri again, because I love her so much and she has so much amazing information to share with us. Brooke, thank you so much for being with us today.
Pleasure. It's always fun.
This is going to be a little touchy. I don't mean, pardon the pun, a little touchy subject. Why is intimacy with ourselves so important? And I mean, I think I'm intimate with myself, but I'm not sure if I'm that intimate with myself. But we're going to talk about that, I guess.
Yeah, we are, because I mean, today's going to be, like you say, touchy. We're getting to the nitty gritty. We're getting to talking about intimacy with ourselves physically, but it's really more important on an emotional and spiritual aspect. But we have to remember that we're more than just physical beings. However, we are physical beings as well. So it's important, just as important on every level. And you know, it starts with us. We can't be intimate with another, truly open and vulnerable and fully present and fully intimate with anyone else in our life,
right,
if we're not fully intimate with ourselves. Yeah. And we usually, we as humans, and particularly women, we are the best at distracting ourselves and hiding from ourselves. We're experts at it. So it's really breaking down those barriers. We have, do you know, we as women, I may have said this before, we have 8,000 nerves in our clitoris, and they serve no purpose other than sensation, pure pleasure, right? So we're brought up with these beliefs that we're not supposed to enjoy sexual intimacy, and yet we have 8,000 nerves in one tiny little piece of flesh that are purely there to give us pleasure.
Tiny piece of flesh on our body.
When it comes to joy and pleasure, absolutely.
All right, so Brooke, you and I haven't discussed this, and you know I am the queen of asking difficult questions. But I have a feeling, and I try not to ask a question that I don't think you will know that you would not know the answer to. So I'm just going to put it in perspective. And if you say we need to move that on to another show, we'll move it on to another show. But I think this is a good time to bring it up, because we all come from a different place, a different spot, a different history when it comes to being intimate, not only with others, but with ourselves. I mean, there are women who have been abused. There are women who have had difficult relationships and partnerships, and maybe abuse from their parents or someone. Can we touch on that today? Not necessarily going into the depth and the psychology of it, maybe getting into a little bit of it, but you know, how do we get past, you know, can we take baby steps to get past some of those? Because I know some women who've had these issues in the past and have difficulty, you know, with that part of their relationship, not necessarily with themselves, but with other, you know, with their partners.
It's a great question and a very relevant question. It is a huge topic, so obviously we can only touch on it today, but it is very relevant, because there is not one woman who hasn't experienced, or not one person who hasn't experienced some form of trauma that is being held within our body. Yeah, right. We all have trauma, and trauma sits in the same chakra energy-wise as our sexual energy. Yeah, when we store it away, that's where it sits. So it is super relevant. But learning to be intimate with ourselves is one way in which we actually start to work through that trauma. Yeah, as we start to and this is why I say we're not intimate with ourselves fully. We're not fully present with ourselves. And can you hear me? It's pouring. I live in the tropics, and it is pouring with rain, and it is so loud. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm sorry if I'm yelling. It's really loud.
You're good.
Where was I? Trauma, yeah. So we store the trauma away, and that stops us getting really close to ourselves and really intimate with ourselves. So it's by becoming intimate with ourselves that we start to release the trauma. And some of the techniques that I teach are amazing at helping you to work through that trauma. Yeah, we just, through getting intimate with ourselves, we start to work through the trauma. So that's one of the benefits of it. I mean, getting intimate with ourselves is wow. The physiological benefits, it reduces anxiety and depression because it increases our feel-good hormones, our serotonin, our endorphins. It for women who have hormonal problems, it balances our hormones, it reduces menstrual pain, it reduces menstrual bleeding. It increases the health of a baby if you're pregnant or if you're looking to conceive. It reduces inflammation systemically through the body. It reduces heart rate. It reduces blood pressure. I mean, you know, I can go on. The health benefits are phenomenal to us. But part of the reason why it's so good is because it's also working through that trauma, and that trauma has negative health benefits. So they
That
are one
is
and the
so,
same.
that is so important. That is so key. I'm glad, you know, that we're talking about this because, you know, working through that trauma and maybe a little piece of it goes away each time. Is that kind of the philosophy?
Totally. And it just gives you the tools we use, which come from the tools we use to work through our trauma come from both Kundalini and Taoism beliefs, but they strengthen our resolve and our capacity to deal with the trauma as well. So it's not as painful.
I love it.
And each time we do that, it brings us closer to ourselves intimately. Yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful process. And the other thing is, you know, we're women living in a very masculine world. You know, we're just starting to evolve into the Aquarian age. We're still in a Piscean world. We're still in a very masculine dominated world. To fit in, we work and think like in a masculine way. And so it becomes very hard for us to get in touch with ourselves on that deep emotional level. We're very stuck in the head. We're very mental. Yeah. But we're not in the heart. Right. And so it's about learning how to come into ourselves from the heart as well. Yeah. We do, and this is the other thing, sexually, we always think we need to be different to men. We have the same, do you know, we have the same amount of.
Say that again. We think we have what?
We think we need to be different to men, but that we need to approach it from a masculine perspective and please the men in the way that we think they should, you know, like pornography wise, you know, we need to get dressed up and whip them or whatever, you know, and that can be fun. But the point is we need to approach it from a feminine perspective first, from the heart. And we can't do that if we're avoiding ourselves emotionally. Right. So, but this is really interesting. It's a bit of a diversion, but we think physically we're different to men, right? And we're not. We're not. We have our tissue becomes erect. You know, our clitoris, the tissue around the clitoris, the vulva, all of that becomes erect as we get excited and turned on. Do you know we have the same amount of erectile tissue as a man?
That's amazing.
Because it's internal as well, right? And it responds the same way. And our hormones and our heart rate and everything responds the same way that they do. Yeah. Where we do differ is that we can recycle our sexual energy, and it can enliven us and give us vitality and energy. Whereas men, when they orgasm and ejaculate, they lose a lot of energy. It saps them, it drains them from their life force. Ours naturally recycles, and what I teach women is ways to actually. We talk about having orgasms from a perspective of the clitoral orgasm usually, yeah, which is what we term from a Taoism perspective as an external orgasm. But what I teach women is how to have what we call internal orgasms, which is about bringing that orgasmic energy up into all of your organs and into your mind. And it's an amazing experience, and it really does heighten your energy and awareness, but it gives you phenomenal health benefits. And in ancient China, they used it as an anti-aging technique. It gives you a lot of youthfulness.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I
Powerful energy. Our sexual energy is the most powerful energy we have. So if we can keep it recycling in our body and bring it into our organs and all, then we have stronger energy within us to
yes,
live.
I'm going to bring up something else that maybe you'd be like,
Yeah.
this is a totally different show, Linda. What are you doing? Why are you even bringing this up? I'm so bad when it comes to stuff like that, but I'm going to do it anyway.
It's great. It's exploration, right? That's what we're talking about. Self-exploration.
Yeah, and that's why it might be a different show, but do you believe that there are some women that abuse their sexual energy?
Oh, wow. Wow. What an amazing
No.
question. Yeah,
Ooh.
absolutely. Absolutely. Do they do it? Are they aware they do it? Not always.
Oh,
Some are.
I think some of
Some
them
are.
are.
I do you know why I do what I do? Because I think most women abuse their sexual energy.
Oh,
That's the
really?
truth of it. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess maybe at one time or another we do, all of us, right?
Yeah.
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 It
And
may not be on
abusing
a
our
regular
sexual
basis.
energy. Abusing our sexual energy is abusing ourselves on a mental, emotional,
Mhm.
spiritual basis, but also physically. Because, like I said, the power of that energy, when we bring it, the body can heal itself from amazing things when we utilize that energy. It's so powerful.
I like
It's
what you,
energy.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, energy just changes form. So our sexual energy can change into whatever energy we need it to be when
Hmm.
we learn how to utilize it.
Hmm. What I was going to say is, what was I going to say? Oh, I like how you said that when we abuse our sexual energy, we're abusing ourselves. That
Yeah.
is deep. Talk about deep.
And we are we're self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. By
Self-sabotage.
not, yeah, yeah, by not being aware. And so this is why let's take this full circle. This is why we're sitting here today talking about getting intimate with ourselves and why it's important.
Yes.
It's important so that we're not sabotaging ourselves. Yeah. Because if we really don't have an understanding of the power of our own sexual energy and how we can utilize that for our benefit, then we are on the other end of that scale and we're abusing it. We're living through a complete lack of awareness of the power that we have within us.
It's so true. It's so true.
And that's on every level: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. So we need to start, and we as women are fantastic at not looking after ourselves, so that's even more reason why we need to do this. And hey, what better way to do it? It's so much fun and so much pleasure and joy as well, right? But you
Right.
need to start with yourself. You need to understand yourself so much more than what we usually do. This is the thing. And it comes back to, and this is why it's so important to learn not just to have that external orgasm, just that clitoral orgasm, which, most people know, okay, I know how to achieve that. Even those women who say they don't orgasm or can't orgasm regularly often know the awareness of how to achieve a clitoral orgasm. But at the end of the day, that's just the surface. You're not getting in touch with yourself on that deeper level. You're not working through all the emotions and trauma that's buried. You're abusing yourself. You're sabotaging yourself. You're living on the surface. Who wants to do that? Who wants to live on the surface? There is so much exquisite beauty and so much joy and so much pleasure in going deeper.
It's so
We
true.
always think it's painful, but the other side of that pain is just pure beauty.
It is. It is a beautiful thing. So, I mean, how you said something that I want to go back to, that
Mm,
self intimacy isn't, and intimacy in general is not just physical.
yeah.
Can you expand on that?
Oh, can I expand on that? Yeah, absolutely. So, from a Kundalini perspective, we believe we have 10 bodies. This might be a bit hard to comprehend for some people, but bear with me. We believe we have 10 bodies. So we exist in all of those bodies equally. We have emotional bodies, mental bodies, physical bodies. We have an auric body, energetic bodies, what have you. So there's that aspect to it. But there's also, if you come back to what I've already said, which is about utilizing that energy and pushing it up into all of our other areas, yeah, that's not just physical. We end up, when we learn to do that through orgasm, we end up experiencing orgasms in those other bodies that we exist. Yeah. So you may have heard of full body orgasm. You may have heard of energetic orgasms. You may have heard of people orgasming without being touched, all of these things.
I was going to ask you about that. Remember that movie? I think it was 40 Days and 40 Nights, where one of them, he had a commitment to not have sex for 40 days. Are you familiar with the movie?
I haven't seen it. No, tell me.
Oh my gosh. So he had made this commitment to not have sex for 40 days and 40 nights or something like that, because he had just broken up with someone. And then he meets the girl of his dreams, and she doesn't understand why he's not coming on to her and everything. Well, she's like, well, we can have, intimacy without, we're gonna do an experiment. And they had an experiment where they got as close as they could without touching each other. And they proceeded to,
I teach a lot of these tools, and learning how to interact with our energies. Our energy and our aura extend way beyond our body.
Yeah.
And obviously, when we're not in tune with them, we don't realize that we can feel these things, and we can connect. We're all connected, right? We're all just, and from if you look at the physics of it and the chemistry and all, we're all just energy. We're not even a physical structure. We're just particles floating around, right? Interacting with each other. That's all we are. And most people are aware of the concept where you walk into a room and you're instantly drawn to someone, like he was with her in the movie, or you're instantly pushed away from someone, you're repelled from someone. And that's just the energies interacting. So you know that, if you look at that and think about that, from a distance, we can feel these energies. So a big part of what I do is teach people, excuse me, how to become more attuned to those energies and how to work with them. So much fun.
How to do what with the energies?
How to work with them, how to use them, how to manipulate them, so that how to interact with them and how to feel them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much fun. So yes, you can sit there and you can, there's so many different ways in which you can use it. Like for example, you could place someone's, this is a really nice one for women, because of course we have the feminine aspect of the womb. You place their head on your womb and just breathe in their energy, and it's, you can feel it filling your womb with sunshine and warmth and love, and it becomes totally orgasmic. And it's, and then we learn to do it from further away and further afield. You can do it with them sitting on the other side of the room. You can do it with them not even in your room when you become adept at it. So it is possible, and it is beautiful, and it's just experiencing it on a different level of our existence. That's all it is.
Yes. And the importance of it is because it's healing.
Oh my gosh. Longevity, usefulness, vitality, healing. It's our life force energy. We're transferring it into the energy that gives us life force, that allows our organs, our glandular system, our nervous system to function. Nervous system's a big one. We don't focus on that enough, because particularly in this day, with all of the anxiety and depression and stress, and it's amazing at calming and balancing the nervous system. Yeah. So it's important for so many aspects.
When we are more in tune with ourselves, it gives us the ability to be more in tune with others, right?
Right.
And
isn't that what we're all here together for?
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that all of us just want the same thing. We just want to be loved, we just want
bang
love.
on.
Even the grumpiest, grouchiest, meanest person in the world, I feel that they just want to be loved and understood.
They just want to be loved, but you know why they're like that? It's not even because they haven't been shown love. Usually most people somewhere in their life have experienced the gift of love. Okay? We are created out of love, let's be honest. Okay, but they're like that because they're not in touch with themselves on an intimate level. They've built up all these walls and barriers to the pains and the traumas, and that's what they've become in touch with. And so they've not, this is the importance of getting in touch with our own intimacy
I
right
love
there.
it. Well, we have just touched the surface of intimacy with a few
We've
episodes,
touched the surface of touch.
touched the surface of touch. And we have done several episodes with Brooke Tera Sundri. And so if you haven't seen them all, you can start at the beginning of the series with Brooke. Such beautiful, wonderful, and helpful information in all the episodes we've done. And this is just the beginning of the intimacy with ourselves. So we're going to finish this topic today, and we're going to have another show on a type of self-intimacy, right? Our next episode is going to be on the journey to love, right?
Yeah. And again, it starts with the self-love.
Starts with ourselves. Exactly. Well, we can't fully love someone else until we love ourselves, right?
Correct.
We need to
Yeah.
find
So
self-love.
we're going to discuss a little bit more in that episode about what love is. And anyway, tune in. It'll be fun.
Well, thank
Always
you
is.
Brooke, so much for being with us today. You always you bring a smile to my face. I know the topic of intimacy can be difficult for some people to listen to and talk about, but watch this in private. Watch this in private so you can listen to it and understand it and see the importance of it, and then delve deeper in with Brooke or someone that Brooke, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about it?
They can contact me, good old social media, on Facebook or Messenger or via email. All of the details are here in the link. Please feel free to reach out. It is a difficult topic for us to broach, because we're not in, when we're not in touch, we've hidden everything down. It's real. There's so much trauma attached to it as well. But to be true to ourselves, we need to open that up. It's the most, I'm going to use the word exquisite. It's the most exquisite experience when we start to really know ourselves on that level. And then you start to really understand who you are and why you're here. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And contact Brooke if you need more help on this subject. And we'll see you soon. Women have needs too. Right now, we need to learn the importance of intimacy with ourselves. Have a great day and stay inspired and stay empowered. Thank you, Brooke.